Welcome! This is a walkthrough on how to HOI4. So you're gonna click, so let's say you're doing a multiplayer thing. You'll go to multiplayer, you'll go to connect to server ID, you'll pop in the server ID, whatever they give you, your friends that is, and then you'll pop in whatever the password they say. You have to make sure that your mods are the exact same. Usually check with these last numbers, and that'll make sure that because if they match, then you know you can play HOI4 together. If they don't, you need to figure out what the issue is and install or uninstall mods. So if you're doing it by yourself, you'll click single player. You're usually going to go to new game. Um, I have Road to 76, so 1936 is the only option I have. So you're going to click play, and then let's do. Um, hmm. Yes, we're gonna do the Nazis. Um, so yeah, we can see their elections, their government, their ideology, the leader, the ruling party. Um, Usually, you don't fiddle around with custom game rules or anything like that. If you need to, you can go down to recruit or civilian or something like that. You can get achievements by doing Iron Man mode. You got options and custom game mode, game rules where you can change all sorts of different things. And we'll just click start. Loading up, loading up. Okay, there we go. You'll get your thing. Yep. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to go to your research because you'll get all these pop-ups. You go to technology. You've got all these technology bars. You can get more, but in some countries you can't. So you're gonna go into here. Now, the first thing you want to do is go over to the industry tab. Do basic machine tools. You'll do that, and then it'll put you back into here. You'll do basic construction, and then this third one, you usually want to do engineering because it increases your research speed. And then over here, you want to go back to your military stuff, and you can get all sorts of stuff. Usually, what you want to do is focus on these main ones right here along these four branches, and they'll get you better improvements on your guns. But if you want to, you can get winter clothing, summer clothing, camouflage, and these are your special operations guys. So you've got shock troops, marines, mountaineers, paratroopers, which you can drop behind enemy lines, and you've got special forces, other details. Let's see. That. And then you can see all the effects that it has. So, piercing 100%, heart attack plus 25%. They'll research that, and then we'll go back here, and then we'll do. What else should we do? We'll get combat service support. Close that. Now, what we want to do is so your factories. You need factories in order to build things. This tells you your total amount of factories: 23 unused, total is 32, owned is 32, in use is 9. 9 are being used by consumer goods. Consumer goods you cannot control, but you do have factors such as the MIFO bills or stability is a big one that determine how many of your factories are going to be used as consumer good production. Um, so let's see here. The first thing you want to do is you want to build up your civilian factories. The more civilian factories you have, the more you can build as a country. So usually you want to put those in positions where you're having your front lines. Because you don't want your weapons manufacturing to get screwed up. So since we're gonna fight in France, we're gonna put them along the western line in the Rhineland. We're going to put them up here. And then we're going to put them over here by Poland. We're going to leave. Let's see here. We're going to get that, and that. That gives us a lot of civilian industries. But we also want military. So we're going to leave this open, but we're going to get these. Those three we're going to use for naval dockyards for ships. The more of those we have, the more ships we can produce. And that'll take a certain amount of time to do. So after that date is passed, the first factory will be built, and then I'll move on to the next one in that region. And then we also want synthetic refineries to produce rubber and oil. This allows you to have more fuel, but if your fuel production is fathoms higher than the fuel usage you have, then there's no point in having a fuel silo unless you're having fuel issues. Supply hubs, that's for supply. Currently, all of our troops have supplies, different shadings and all that stuff. I mean, different things. If it's red, it's bad, so you'll place down, let's say here, we'll go up there and place down one, and then that'll construct. It'll take a while, but once it constructs, it'll provide resources to those troops so they can effectively work. And then railroads to connect those, and then you can upgrade them to whatever level you want. Bunkers make things really difficult for the enemies to pass through. Let's see here. This building inflicts an attack penalty of 15% for each fort level. So essentially, it really helps preventing land invasion. The coastal forts help with naval invasion, and you can put land forts and coastal forts on these tiles. Let's see here, what else? Anti-air is incredibly useful for when you're having military conflicts and you need to go out there and shoot down planes. If you don't have a massive air force, having a lot of anti-air will really help. Airbase, that helps with getting your planes out there, so the more of those you have, the further reach you have, but also the more planes you can put down. Infrastructure, faster troop transportation, and more resource production. So we're going to put those in. Get those down. You need a lot of alloy, so you usually want to get those areas first. Get that chromium and tungsten. And just fill in the rest. And over time those will get constructed. And then I'm just gonna upgrade Brandenburg, that place. We're going to get the Westfalen. We're gonna get there, and then we're gonna get there. Okay, so that's all of that handled. Now, free military bases. That is our production. So this tells you how much is in your current stockpile. This tells you how many away you are for upgraded. If this is red, that means you don't have enough, so you need to make more. So you'll have to make more refineries, or you'll have to trade. Currently, we need a lot of aircraft, so we're going to go up there and put that there, and it'll produce more aircraft over time. That tells you how long it's going to take to produce one aircraft. And we want more medium bombers. Our submarines are out of date, so we're going to click on it. We're going to come over here, and we're going to click a new submarine, so we're going to do the newest type. And we're going to just do that for all of them. We're just going to cancel the rest of these. You can click the thing, and then we're going to cancel these destroyers as well, because nobody ever uses destroyers. If they do, they're weird. And just for giggles, we'll leave the cruisers there. You really need convoys for naval invasions. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So you go over here, and then we'll leave that at 1 because we don't need that many. Put that we'll do 3, and then we'll set the rest of these to 3 as time progresses. And this tells us how many we can create. So normally it'll just create 1 and then it'll delete itself. But usually, and sometimes, like for this one, it'll be infinite. It'll just keep producing. And that's perfectly fine because you can never have enough convoys. And then submarine, we want about 100. So we're gonna go through here, and we're just gonna get. Oh, we don't want to do that. Do that. There we go. And that'll produce all of our ships. And that's about 2, 4, 6, 8, about 80 something submarines, which is pretty good in comparison to other navies. Um, so let's say we want to deploy them at a certain base. It automatically deploys them, but you can click on it and you can select the specific base you want it to deploy at, or the specific fleet you want it to deploy in. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to leave it how it is. We need to use some more of these. Usually you want to put it into rifles first, and then artillery. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. That's support equipment. Then we want artillery. Both are incredibly important, so you'll need to manage, all of your production, improve light tanks, and so on. This is your armored vehicles. In order to make new tanks, you'll have to go there and go to click create variant, and then depending on what you have, you'll either get the option to create new variant or not. But then there's the modules still determine the turret, and you have different costs and so on. And you can min max your tank and so on to get it to work properly. Um, in order to go out there and do that, you need army experience. Then you have aircraft. You can use naval bombers for different stuff to bomb naval stuff. You need early transport to go out there and do paratroopers, bombers to bomb cities and stuff like that, and so on, fighters to fight other planes. Civilian trains, you need to transport resources. If you don't have any of those, you need to build them or commandeer them from the civilians. You can create mortars apparently now, and the Great War railway guns, artillery, anti-air, that different stuff. Naval ships here, and this gives you all your stats and stuff like that. Um, we need rubber, so we'll go over to insufficient resources. Now we need rubber, and this tells us what countries are offering to trade with us, how many composts it's going to cost, and how much they can export, and how much has been delivered. So we want to go just straight up British Malaya. Um, and then this we can determine how many factories we're going to give them access to, which comes out of us, so we can't use those factories, and they're going to take that in return for giving us rubber. Um, so we're going to send, and then they'll start producing it. They'll start giving us that rubber within the next coming days, and that'll solve our problem. So we can just right-click that to get rid of it. Decisions available. So you need to pay attention to what each of these do. You need to read them and ask questions about them if you have friends playing with you, or even Google them. So we do not want to cancel MIFA builds just yet, so we're going to close that. Radio propaganda, it has the game war support and all that. We don't really need to do that, so I'm going to close that. Let's see here. We're not doing any of that right now, but that allows you to go out there and change your political party. So you can do anti-democratic raids to go out there and ban democracy. You can ban communism. You can formalize military stuff, and that all unlocks the free division template. All sorts of stuff. Economic policies which help with your economy. Uh, if you have the ability to do so, it'll if you have the notify, it'll pop up and then it'll tell you up here that you can do it. exploit the oil fields. That's important. So yes, Greater German Reich. That's something we want to do eventually. I have the production boost, so I'm going to select that just to make construction a little faster. Um, infinite supplies, yeah, and then hide allies' decisions. Those decisions by issuing clear orders to our allies, we will increase our chances to coordinate our actions. I'm clear that. Missing equipment. This tells us what we're missing. We don't want transporters or naval bombers because I don't use those. So we can right click that national focus. Um, this allows us to go up there and determine what we're going to do with the country. So you have the army, the economy, you have the air force, you have the navy, um, and each of these has its own benefits and rules and so on. And then here is your national with your party. You can rally the monarchists with Germany. You can denounce the Treaty of Versailles and go down the Nazi path. Or you can get rid of Hitler and go down the communist path. They really upgraded. Wow, okay. Oh boy. That is a lot. Good God. Okay, that's something we're going to have to try out. But I am going to go down the Imperial path, which will launch Germany into a civil war. We'll support return the conservative exiles, overthrow the Nazis, restore the empire. Restore the Central Powers, alliance with Austria-Hungary. Let's see here. Federal state has completely returned the old. The Allen Empire, prepare the Italian coup. Let's see here. You know what? We're just gonna go straight down the Nazi path. So that solves it, and it'll take away our political power, which we can use to make the decisions. Stability is important. War support allows us to declare war because there's different factors here. Manpower allows us to build more troops. There's a factories, there's a fuel. Logistics tells us how much is fulfilled and stuff like that. Convoys, you need those to go out there and get to different skill points. Make sure you have enough equipment before you go out there and make new divisions. Now we need to assign our armies. So usually what I like to do with Germany is I like to assign two fronts at the very beginning. So that's 12 divisions. The maximum amount we can have is 24. If we're doing area defense, it's pretty much infinite. We'll do that. Actually, we'll do this. That's 14 divisions. And then we'll put Rommel there. And then these we need up there, and we'll put Gurdon. And we'll take. Let's drop into SS division, we'll put it there. And we'll take one of our infantry and we'll put it there. And then we'll just leave it like that, and then we'll select Rommel. We'll go down to, we have different things we can do, execute battle plans, flexible cohesion. So if we want to do a naval invasion, we'll go here, the troops will move there, and then we'll just right-click to a location. You have to have naval supremacy in order to go out there and get to go. So preparation will go up, and then you can click that, and it'll go, and then they'll sail across if you have the enough naval superiority. So we'll just click here because we're going to be invading Poland. We're going to go into an offensive against the Polish. We're just going to set it up. The Soviet Union will be helping us, so we can just hold back there. We'll have this here, put that there, shoot down here, and put that there. We can add those together to make a army group, and that'll be useful for stuff. So if we go there and delete it, we can go there and just place all of them down as one whole line and make them go together, or you can put them down as a single line and then tell them separately where to go. And you got all sorts of different things you can do here. Then you have him over here. We're going to put him to the Austrians because we're going to be invading them soon. Put that there. And get that all nice and ready. And now we simply go over to Strategic Navy, set up our admirals, because we're not really going to need to use them until later on. Each of them have different factors and what they do and so on. This is where your new ships will come in as reserve. You'll take them, you'll right click, you add them in here, and you can move them around. Navy's not super important. Put that there. We can ignore them. Air Force. This is like the second most important thing you could possibly ever have. So we're going to take all of them. We're going to convene them in Berlin so we can reorganize them. And then we're going to wait until they all travel to Berlin. And that is all of our aircraft. We're going to merge all of the air wings. So let's see, we got some fighters. So we're going to take all of our fighters. We're going to put them in air superiority. They're going to engage enemy fighters and bombers, which is a good thing. We're going to set them up here. Here, you want to evenly distribute your aircraft. Makes things a lot easier. And then you have transport planes. We're not going to be doing any of those, so we're just going to disband that and disband that. All that aircraft goes back into our storage, and the game won't yell at us to make more. Got medium bombers, which we can put to different things, but we're just going to do close air support since we don't have a lot of close air support vehicles. Otherwise, we can do strategic bombing, which destroys buildings, infrastructure, and industry, or we could do logistics, which destroys their trains, and that makes everybody angry, except for you. So we're going to evenly distribute these. These will fight tanks and stuff like that and help provide ground support so the troops can function better in battle. And then we have close air support aircraft. We're going to put them there. And then we're going to just distribute these. Oopsies, I clicked the wrong thing. Distribute them. If you ever need to reorganize them, you can easily just take them and then put them on the new place, or you can just simply, let's see here, that's pretty much it. Or you can just take them all, and then you can send them back to an airport, and then they'll disconnect. I'm not using these, so we're going to get rid of those. We'll get manpower back for it as well. So now, when we unpause, all of these aircraft will move to where they need to be in order to work. This allows troops to move. You'll click this to stop them. This tells you how well your troops are going to do. It's not perfect. Sometimes it might say you're going to do horribly, and then you slaughter the enemy. We're up against the Polish, and they have more troops than us, so we obviously aren't going to do a very good job with them. So we're going to have to end up producing more. Here's where you can work on them. You can edit divisions and stuff like that, and You can work on all that. Make new divisions, tanks, so on. This is important because this is your distribution. You can set priorities, reinforcements, upgrades, garrisons. Garrisons determine your resistance. Resistance is an incredibly annoying thing. It'll harm your factories, your buildings, and all that. It'll slow down your troops. So you want to keep your people that you're occupying all nice to happy. And if you have to, you really need to supply your troops. Um, so let's see your game rules. Notice. Okay, that's nothing of importance. We'll go over to here. Your political advisors, they give you different effects. You got all these. You can do different things with them. You have national spirits. They tell you what you're doing. Your faction, you can create or disband it. Your occupied territories is how you go out there and tell the effects of resistance. So this is your main management, currently set to local police force, but you can change it between them. Civilian oversight has no garrison costs, but it goes out there and that allows aggression to rise. You can do local police force, which reduces resistance, reduces damage to garrison, um, but it increases required garrisons, and daily compliance will go out there and it will increase, but it won't increase as fast. Um, no garrison, of course, just allows resistance to go out there and increase, and you can change that to set that stuff. Oh, wait, hold on. I can do that? Oh, I didn't know you can do that. Yeah, and then it'll show you all the resistance on the map, and that'll show compliance as well. And you can do that over here, which allows you to see different things, resources, factions, so on. And I believe that's everything. You have national characters, which change different effects. These have different things, all require political power. World tension allows you to go out there and do different things. Like if you're a democratic country, you have to have a certain amount of political power and world tension in order to do things. We're gonna go along. For diplomacy, you can justify war against people. You can offer military access. This determines whether they'll accept or not. There's boost popularity, which allows you to stage coups and such on. You can see how they're doing. You can get the details on their military, but they're not specific details until you're fighting them. And even then, it's kind of iffy. Denounce the Treaty of Versailles. You're going to take over the Rhineland, which does this. The Allies will hand over the Rhineland. However, there are, like, if you're playing with people, they can deny you access and cause war and so on. You can justify for random countries. You just click that, conquer, and then whatever. Or if you have different other reasons, and it'll tell you how long it's gonna take. So Tyrol, it'll take that much political power and that many days until it's ready. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. And then you can right click, well, you can just click on soldiers, and then you can tell them where to go. You can tell them not to go. You can reserve transfer, staff planning, last stand, so on. You can tell them to stop. Modify government. Go into here, and we're going to do captain of industry, so we can build better stuff.